And welcome to Internet Supreme Court, the show where we judge the weekly cultural zeitgeist. And just like the regular Supreme Court, you didn't vote for any of us, but don't worry, we're not corrupt. Let's introduce our corrupt judges. First, Dishonorable Judge Lopez, or Nader Boy, as you've changed your name to. I disagree.
Yeah, I have because it's tank top season, and Judge Nate doesn't. Nader Boy doesn't wear sleeves. So
When's tank top season start and end?
Memorial Day, Labor Day.
Okay,
Just Martha Stewart. Yep.
Perfect. Let's also welcome Dishonorable Judge Katie.
Hey, yeah, I got the sleeveless thing going on too. 47 popped up. Yeah, just in LA, having a nice.
Oh my
time.
God!
Oh no! How
are you guys doing out there?
Anarchy. Oh God!
Oh, okay.
Deploy the troops. Yeah. It's anarchy in LA.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, I'm in Chicago, Katie's in LA, and Nate is in the afterlife.
Right. I'm here until my business is settled.
and it will never be.
No.
Speaking of unsettled business, let's welcome Dishonorable Judge Matt Kelly.
It's business chill and fine in this basement, so everything's good down here. No need for guns. Just me and a bunch of DVDs and more couches that I know what to do with.
Matt Kelly still living in that silo, huh?
You ever seen the movie Tremors? It's very similar to where Reba McEntire lives in that movie down here.
You're 10 years from becoming John Goodman in that scary movie.
Yeah. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
There you go.
We all know what it is. All right, let's move on. We got a lot to cover this week. Let's move on to the news. Dishonorable Judge Katie, you got a case about the Battle of Los Angeles with your goddamn M16A2 service rifle.
I'm sorry if that's too triggering for some audiences. That's
triggering. I get it.
I have a katana if we'd like. I'm in Los Angeles. Of course, I have a katana.
What does that mean?
No. Hang on a second.
That doesn't make any sense.
Are we just making up things now?
Yeah. Listen, it's LA, guys. And let me tell you about the Battle of Los Angeles that happened this week. It is not real, okay? Much like everything that comes out of LA, there's a lot of fakeness happening. But let me just give you a quick rundown of some of the events that happened that led to what's going on in LA right now. So starting off on May 30th, our good friend Stephen Miller yells at his ICE leaders saying that they need to go from arresting 1,000 people every single day to 3,000 people every single day. This has inspired quite a bit of shitheads to come in unmarked vans, in covered faces, all sorts of things, terrorizing people in their local schools, houses, places of work, and they are rounding up quite a few people. So that happened on May 20th, and then last week when we were talking about Elon and breaking up with Donald Trump, then this video and social media started popping off. June 5th, a good guy named Mr. Howie, I believe, right over there, he could be seen crying and talking about how people were taken from a elementary school graduation by ICE and were illegally detained. Now the conservative media is saying that that is not actually true, and I looked it up. I did a lot of research on Snopes. It is true that they did not get detained at the elementary school graduation, but an elementary school graduation was happening right next to Mr. Howie, and right next to the elementary school was actually the detainment of people at Home Depot looking for work. So that sparked a lot of protesting. So on June 6th, last Friday, a lot of the protests began. And that is where the bottom photo there, David Huerta, aka the president of the Service Employees International Union, was arrested because he would not let an ICE agent vehicle pass as he was peacefully protesting. He had his hands on his hips and he would not move. And then an ICE officer pushed him, to which he tried to defend himself. And then they arrested him, hurting him and putting him in the detainment center. So the protests popped off. And we got a little bit more military involvement, not just from ICE, but from our local LAPD. Pictured here in front of a donut shop.
Oh my God. It's
art. Judge Dredd.
Fucking art, man.
That's a great picture. This feels like a screenshot from like a really hardcore Batman comic in the 80s, you know, like The Dark Knight.
See, this just looks like bad sci-fi satire, like Demolition Man.
Yeah, well, no, because in that movie they wouldn't have fat cops.
That's I don't know. Their number one food source was Taco Bell. That's what won the festival.
But everyone's food war. Yeah.
Still don't know how those seashells work, but
yeah, nobody does.
Yeah.
I assume you just use the 2 seashells to grab your poo and pull it out.
That's the best guess I have.
Okay.
Instead of your hand, like what I do. Anyway, LA.
Dig. Well, apart from ICE agents, LAPD actually said that the protests were very peaceful and came out with a brand new announcement over the weekend saying that, yeah, everything's been very peaceful. Even Maxine Waters came by to take a visit, try to say hi to David Huerta, but she was denied, and a door was slammed in her face along with other congressional members who do have the right in order to go in an unannounced review of this detainment center, but she was not allowed in. Luckily, later on Monday, David Huerta was actually released, but the protests still continue. And because of all of this sort of maddening things, we are getting a lot of different ICE agents who are firing rubber bullets, tear gas, and all sorts of things onto protesters because they are trigger-happy children.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Look, I mean, these are the people that were too stupid to be cops, man.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are morons. They can't be grunts.
Do you know that if they give you like 100 rubber bullets, if you come back with 100 rubber bullets, they're not going to give you 100 rubber bullets next time. Yeah. You know, you have to be like, this is how many I use. So you got to use them up. You got to shoot a bunch of protesters for no reason.
Basic
so you get
budget.
your 100 rubber bullets. Yeah, come on.
I mean, I'm going to have to keep that in mind in terms of when I hand my BB gun back.
You know what drives me crazy about this? Like, it's just a little thing, but we spent 5 years ago, the people who are now ICE agents would not wear a mask for all the goddamn money in the world.
No.
It's so
they said they couldn't breathe.
Yes. Couldn't breathe. It was recycling the carbon, so they were suffocating.
Yep.
Now it's fine.
But only them. The rest of us perfectly fine. We can handle our carbon.
Totally fine.
Oh my God. Doctors. Yeah, doctors are doing surgery, just passing out on people, you know.
Frankly, I don't want to put anybody in charge who can't handle their carbon. So
let's put that down. If you can't handle your carbon, get off this carbon-based planet. You know?
Well, they not only fired on protesters, but they also fired on the media. And this is a reporter who got a rubber bullet to the dome.
That looks like Ash Wednesday's gone wrong.
Looks like when athletes cup themselves.
Your pastor has a very large thumb.
You know when athletes like go get that weird cupping massage?
Yeah,
like right here, please, because the brain is the strongest muscle.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. So perhaps because of how many times reporters were shot in the head or in the leg or whatnot, there was a lot of conflicting opinions about things, such as this image, which I'm sure you've seen recently, which many people, especially conservative leaning, have taken this to be cop cars on fire, but these are in fact AI driverless Waymo cars.
You could see it on the top of the thing, but they don't. That's asking them to know what details are.
Yeah, or to, I don't know, research things, something like that. Look at something. I don't know, be in the actual city. Los Angeles is a very large group of areas. And this actual protest is only taking place in like a 5-mile radius. To put things into context, on Tuesday, we had an 8 p.m. curfew I was performing and my parents had come all the way up from San Diego just to see me perform. And it did not affect us. We were like 2 miles away from all this. So there's context to all of it.
It's the second largest city in the U.S. Sorry, Nate, go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest cities in the goddamn world. The people who are saying that Los Angeles is burning are the same people who can see the other side of their town from their third story, right?
Yeah.
They have no concept of what's actually happening here.
Those are the same people that say like Chicago is dangerous.
Yeah,
they're like,
Portland
oh, you're going to get
fucking
war
zone.
Yeah, and I've lived in Chicago for most of my adult life, and I've never been murdered. So
you only need it to happen once. Bacon.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty tough. I don't know.
The most that's happening in LA right now is the Pride Parade and also Fringe Festival, which is like the Pride Parade for theater nerds. So it's everybody's kind of being artistic and amazing, and that's what Los Angeles does. It's filled with artists and people who make really great commentary, such as the next gentleman, who is now what we're calling DTLA Daniel because of this interview. And then let me just real quick grab that.
Do you want me to bring that in?
I gotcha.
You got it?
As well. Describe what happened to you.
Oh, just tasted a little tear gas. Tasted like fascism.
He's the most LA guy to ever.
I already knew he was cool because he was wearing sunglasses at night. And what's it with LA people always wearing beanies? You guys, I know you want to wear them, but it's not cold enough.
If somebody told me this was Kurt Cobain, I would believe them.
Yep.
I tried my hardest to find this guy. I couldn't, so I just made him a T-shirt that I hope that at one point we might see on this Saturday at the No Kings protest that's located in every major city. So basically, guys, Trump's a liar. Gavin Newsom's going off on Twitter, and I don't know. LA's kind of crazy right now.
Gavin Newsom is, 2028 is looking good for that guy.
That's what I think what the long-term goal is for Gavin Newsom.
I mean, it's either him or AOC, right?
Yeah. What I like about this is, or the first thing I think of, I think I saw a tweet that says the first thing I think of when I hear the riots is this old photo. This is back when Trump first became president, back 2016, I do believe, and there's the DC protests, and it's just like they only take photos of the exciting things happen. So then if there's like 5 exciting things happening, you put them all on TV, and then it's like, oh my God, it looks like a hellscape. Do you know? But really, it's just a bunch of the same people doing that.
It reminds me when they show like a different angle of the Taj Mahal or the pyramids of Giza, and you see like the city, or you see just a colossal dump next to them, it just, you change your perspective a little and you change the entire story.
It's true. And I think that's one of the things that LA is really great at is framing. And one of my favorite things is that so many people on social media have been checking a lot of the news. Fox News actually got driven out of the protests this weekend because nobody wanted them there.
Nice.
But even CNN, I mean, there's so many people on both aisles of the parties that are telling wrong information. And I gotta say, as someone who is burning up here in LA, granted, a little bit of an outskirt, we're doing just fine, you guys. It's all a big sham to distract us from so much more. But DTLA Daniel, he knows what's up.
Well, I mean, but I feel like what you're doing right now is going back to a statement that Bacon is saying. You are literally clothespinning your robe higher up because of how hot it is. So will you be going outside with a beanie on your head today? Is it beanie weather out there?
Oh yeah. No, it's absolutely beanie weather. I mean, for now, I'm only got this. This
is a
hat
great
right
look.
Good hat.
Everything that Kate's got going on right now is perfection.
That is a good hat.
Yeah.
This is why she's the sex appeal of internet.
Liberate LA.
Wow. Now the news isn't done. We got a little bit more news, probably a little bit more important.
What WOD are you going to do today?
CrossFit.
Nate, you got some CrossFit news for us?
I got some CrossFit news, y'all.
How do
I got a little presentation. It's already up.
Dragon.
Oh wait, I need to share it. I'm
It's all right. I'm going to put you. I'm going to put you center stage while I do that. Here, I'll give you more time.
What WOD are you going to do today?
CrossFit. Thank you.
How many times do I have to do that?
Only once. It's being
Okay.
shared right now.
Okay.
Yeah, if you click it. Not that it matters. There's only 3 slides.
Okay.
Cool. So we need a little lesson here. Okay. The CrossFit Games. It's a very niche sport. Happens in August. 30 men, 30 women, the best quote unquote athletes in the world compete to see who the fittest is. All right. They've been claiming the fittest in the world for I think it's 15 years now.
Okay.
To make it to the games, you have to qualify for the games. And there's a lot of in-person events that they do, including this one, the Northern California Classic. Now, I want you to think of that remember when bookstores were a thing, right? And you had Borders, you had Barnes and Nobles, and then you had the quirky little ones,
Mm-hmm.
Barnes and Nobles and Borders, they're going to have what you want. And if they don't have it, they're going to find a way to get it to you. You're going to have great coffee. It's run well, but it's also pretty corporate-y, and back in the early 2000s, we kind of wrestled with that. So you go to the little shop around the corner. It's super quirky. They had 10 cats there. And they got that weird lady who runs it with her, weird friend who's, you're not really sure what's going on there. And it's very fun. It's very quirky. They never have anything you're looking for, and you always leave and go to Borders. This Northern California Classic is that quirky bookstore. They're the weird CrossFit competition. They take place in Sacramento every year, and there've never been a sanctioned event until this year. So they're helping decide who is going to the CrossFit Games. Why am I telling you this? Well, because this was just a cacophony, just a confederacy of dunces here. Whatever, anything bad that could happen, happened. They had jump ropes exploding and whipping people in the face at this competition.
What?
Weekend. It was so hot. So it was 92 degrees in Sacramento, and they were performing. That's the comedian. They were competing on blacktop that they had painted with these barbells that had 250 pounds on them each. They're chucking these barbells up and down there. They got jump rope. It was 92 degrees in the air. When you're on blacktop, it was about 118 degrees on that blacktop. These jump ropes would whip the ground, and it would get so hot, it would heat up the bearings at the end, and the bearings would explode. When they explode, these jump ropes would fly out, and they'd whip people in the face. So 2 people got whipped in the face. They threw away the jump ropes, took it out of the competition. That was the first bad thing. Second bad thing, we had 4 high-level athletes that everyone watches. They got hurt there. No fault of their own. This wasn't the competition, but it's bad luck,
Mm-hmm.
So it was just thing after thing. They had one event where they were pushing a truck up a hill. They had 2 trucks, and you were pushing one, you're loading it, then you push it, right? It was a very strongman event. Well, they were finding that everybody on the left side was winning. Nobody on the right side won, no matter the size of the people. They looked. The one on the left had the the one on the right had the emergency breakup.
That's a sketch.
Dunces are running this thing, okay? This is just the dumbest thing. Well, beyond that,
Confederacy of dunces. It's
it
gonna be my
really
new
is.
phrase now.
So during the George Foreman protests, the very racist asshole guy who invented CrossFit fired the entire media team.
Did you mean George Floyd or George?
Oh, so yeah, I said Foreman, right? I meant George Floyd. Thank you.
Just wanted to check, just in case.
Those goddamn cookers.
Damn those grills.
It was for the office. So he fired everybody in their media team. So CrossFit media is like the Wild West right now. There's one man who is very, very big in CrossFit media. This guy, he was fired by CrossFit, created his own channel, and made his name shitting on every other person in CrossFit media. He has hated the way CrossFit competitions have been run for years and years and how they're televised or how they're broadcast on YouTube. So he's constantly been a critic. He's always said he could run one better. So this year he did. His team broadcast this particular competition. Well, something happened in this one. I'm going to pause it right quick. I want you to pay attention to this guy right here. He is in black.
Where lower left? Lower left. Yeah.
There. Yeah. It looks like in lane 26, got a 27, 26 right next to it. Maybe that's 28. I don't know.
It looks like a 20.
Matter.
What the fuck? All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the numbering.
Looks like
they're all 27. It's all
it's okay.
It's 11. Lane
Whatever,
11.
we found them.
You go all the way up, then come back down. You have two little boxes. You have the rig with a rope. So the idea here is that they're lifting this. They jump over the box. They climb a rope a bunch of times. Come, jump over the box, lift this again. This is super heavy. This guy right here with the yellow is his judge. This guy is the competitor. This guy in the red works for the guy I told you. He's the cameraman. Now, if you're a journalist covering sports, what's the number one rule that you need to do?
Not
Don't
interfere.
fucking
Get out of the
interfere.
way.
Yeah.
He's standing in the middle of where everything's going to happen.
So he's right in the middle of everything. Well, if you watch here,
Oh boy.
this goes by fairly quick. You see, he is talking right now. This guy is competing. Now he goes, what? He's talking to each other. And I cut it off right before he changed it. The guy in red told the competitor that he had the wrong weights on his bar. So the competitor removed the weights, put new weights on, and lifted. Guess what? He didn't have the wrong weights on his bar. When he lifted the bar, he got disqualified. He was in second place. The top two competitors go to the CrossFit Games. This would have been his first trip to the CrossFit Games. He got disqualified because this guy in red told him to change his barbell. Going back, it's heartbreaking, right? Because he's worked his entire life for this, and he just could not do it. This man right here has been shitting on CrossFit media for 5 years now, saying that he could do it better. He could do it better. He could do it better. Turns out he cannot do it better, and he hires a bunch of idiots. That's all. That's CrossFit Corner. CrossFit Corner is brought to you by CrossFit, which is still for dummies.
What WOD are you going to do today?
CrossFit.
Bumper.
Every time I love that one.
It's a great one. I really love
that
it.
one. We're going to take a quick 5.
Okay.
Should we take a quick 5 right now? We're going to come back, and I'm going to tell you guys we got 2 Lego Masters going on right now. We got Lego Masters United States and Lego Masters Australia. And I'm going to tell you which one's the best, because actually I've watched almost every version of Lego Masters. I love it so much. Can't wait to tell you about that. Also, we got a cold case from Matt Kelly that do I want to give anything away, actually?
We don't know if we'll get to me. And
we will.
There'll be elements of it's a personal cold case.
All right. We'll be back in 5. See ya.
all the things you need, and even those you don't, with the Hankering app. Hankering gives you incredible products at downright unbelievable prices. Flat out implausible price tags on products such as chair scrubber, toothpaste dish, sock locker. These are all real products. We will send you the products. I swear to God we will. Did somebody tell you that we don't send our products? Or that we send wrong or misleading items? Who said it? Fucking shit scoundrel for weeks now. You tell us the name. Give us the name.
We're older now, our autumn years will buy this town if it's not too dear. So say the word, 'cause I belong to you.
We're back.
Hey.
Howdy.
Thank you guys for sticking watching Shirtless Dave.
I like
Best part
that.
about the show, Shirtless
I
Dave.
like the beanie.
Love that, dude.
Nice beanie, Katie.
Thank you very
God
much.
damn it.
It's hot in LA, so you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
every person in LA owns several beanies, like more than anybody in a cold climate.
I gotta
they
tell you
hand
though,
out-
it was really difficult to find this beanie.
Oh.
I was running around my apartment for 5 minutes of our break trying to find this beanie.
It's a
They,
good beanie.
you know, how they hand out the Chicago mustache whenever you enter town.
Oh yeah.
It's the same thing with the beanies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's move on to television this week.
And winter is coming. I am the one who knocks.
Bazinga!
Now, like I said before we went to the break, got two Lego Masters going on right now. So if you are interested in the show, you got two options to pick from. One, the US version, and the other is the Australian version. And I'm going to I'm going to compare them, and you could see which one you like better. Slight spoilers ahead for the first episode of the latest seasons of these. So if you don't know, Lego Masters is a reality TV show competition, where people build amazing Lego creations. It's fun, positive, supports creativity and teamwork, and it's widely popular. it's so many countries have their own versions. There's Australia, France, Sweden, Germany, UK, USA. You get it. There's a lot. There's more than this even. I just got sick of downloading flags.
Fair enough.
So both these right now, Australia, USA are on. So let's compare them, see which one you might be interested in. And
already I can see one takes place in space.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
The budget. I mean, man. That's the thing. It's like they just throw right now. There's just a ton of Lego bricks orbiting the planet. You have to grab them.
Oh no! They hit terminal velocity. They'll take a plane down.
So first, we're gonna. Oh man!
No.
Too soon, mate. Too soon. Just happened. Oh man! So first, let's cover Lego Masters USA. So we're on season 5, episode 1. We're just going to go through the first episode. The season opens with a trailer for what's coming. It's basically just a highlight reel of Lego tie-ins. You got Lego Star Wars, Wicked, Batman, and of course, the American twist gimmick where they purposely sabotage the contestants mid-build for dramatic effect. I don't know who likes this, but they do it. The first week is Star Wars week. Stormtroopers march out, people scream, Darth Vader walks in, and people act like they've never seen a Halloween costume before. One guy loses his mind, and he says, "Oh my God, I can't believe Star Wars is here." Yeah, the most merchandised IP on the goddamn planet in history is here. Shocking. Wow. So then a giant Lego Death Star flies in and blows up the top halves of each team's planet. Okay? And there's 10 teams, so we have to watch 10 explosions and everyone's reaction to the explosion. When we meet the judges, Amy and Jamie, they know their stuff, but still, somehow, after 5 seasons, they're still very stiff and distant on camera. They're Lego experts, don't get me wrong, and I like all their notes, but they don't have a lot of emotion.
They both chose the weirdest fabric for their coat.
Yeah.
Velour and just shiny foil. That's weird.
Then we get then Will Arnett, the host, does a talking head where he re-explains everything that was just said, just in case you were on your phone. And personally, I love Will Arnett. I think he used to be a really great host. His sarcastic tone really fit with the lower production value, and he does connect with the contestants. But now,
Thomas Lennon.
What?
He looks like Thomas Lennon
with that mustache.
Yeah,
with the mustache. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. But now his bits feel a little overproduced and fake. It's like the network execs finally realized that he was funny and they just fucking ruined it. You know?
Oh no!
I have a question.
Yeah.
So he's turning into BoJack then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he might be.
Wow.
I mean, he's in that part of his
Why?
career
Just because he's horsing around?
Yeah, exactly.
Too soon, Matt Kelly. Just happened.
Hollywood.
So moving on, we meet to the meat and potatoes of the show. It's the weekly challenges. This week, each team gets half of a Lego planet, and they must build something on top of it that represents a planet and their personality, while also being in the Star Wars universe.
That's too many.
Whoa,
Yeah, that's a lot of things.
That's a lot of hats on hats.
Yep.
You got a lot of stuff to cover, right? So now we're introduced to the contestants, and we're learning about them, but also it's the most basic superficial level thing about them, like their job. Like, could you guys believe that this guy on the right's a bodybuilder?
What?
No.
And he does Lego.
That's how I look in the mirror.
I almost said something bad.
The face that you make.
Yeah. It was just like, you got this, Katie.
And then while learning that, we also have to find out what Star Wars character they are. Yeah,
What? Wow,
I don't-
that's
okay.
too many things.
That's so many things.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps.
They know stoners are watching this, right? We don't need that much. Just build shit and play music.
Yeah.
So the show has so many planned bits that there's not a lot of time to actually learn about the builders in one episode. You do as the episodes go on. In this one, there isn't a lot of footage of the actual builds. Most of it is focused on these stormtrooper sketches, like when they break the clock so the builders don't know how much time they have left. Do Star Wars fans like this kind of stuff? Like, it's like, hey, do you remember the first movie?
Kids like seeing it live.
There was a pretty trilogy fairly recently that was built on a whole lot of remember when this happened throughout the movies. So
yeah, I will be honest. I've never been excited when a stormtrooper shows up, but I have had kids who. The one kid like lost his fucking mind when Kylo Ren showed up in Chewbacca, but I don't know what these two guys are really doing for anyone.
Yeah.
Daft Punk?
Well, so can I ask a very quick question, Bacon, for context? I'm assuming that this is because you said something about like they're doing all these vignettes, but you're not really getting to know anybody. Is Lego Masters similar to like a lot of these other shows where at the end of each episode, one of the people is voted off and like they lose? Okay.
The judges they pick who goes home.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I feel like that's pretty consistent with most of these shows where like the first 6 people that get voted off of, say, like any season of Survivor or RuPaul's Drag Race or what have you, $1 billion, I couldn't tell you anything about them or who they are. Like once they thin the herd down to like the final 8 people, I'm like, okay, I know who. I can tell these 8 people apart now.
That's what I like about Great British Bake Off.
Yeah,
there's so little bells and whistles that you actually do get to know the contestants.
First episode, you know every baker.
Yeah. Because this is just the American style of instead of focusing, let's focus on the people when we get down to them, and let's fill. Hey everybody, hey Lego people, hey Star Wars Legos. That's what it feels like when I watch this, and I'm like, hi, I'm not stupid, please.
Well, I also don't think you have to have your distraction every 5 seconds when it comes to.
So what are some of the builds? One's a puppy planet, which it's literally just a planet of dogs and Chewbacca minifig in there. Another is an intergalactic holistic hospital. Why?
Of course it is.
Because the team is in healthcare that made it.
But they had to have them in scrubs.
And they work in them in costumes.
Is that a person behind him, or is that the weirdest mullet of all time?
Oh man. Here's the losing build. It's just some shrubs, the frame of a building that's supposed to be a karaoke bar for ants, and some random Star Wars minifigs. It's genuinely one of the worst builds I've seen on the show.
I'm confident I could
make this. If you showed me these 3 in a row and said, "Can you guess which one was the one that got voted off?" Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is one I would make with my kids. I could do it.
Yeah,
you can. But you know what? I here's the thing. It's the first episode, and they're eliminated. They're gone. They don't get a second chance. Okay. And as much as I didn't like the build, whatever, I don't think they should send anybody home on the first episode. You're a creative. You're in a new environment. You have to learn to use the brick pit. You have all these cameras. You got all these stupid stormtrooper bits going on. I think that you should allow people to get their feet wet a little bit in a creative show.
I'm okay with that, and sending 2 people home in week 2. I fully support that.
You know? Yeah. The winning build, BM225, a droid-making planet, and I am whelmed.
Yeah.
Perfectly described. Yeah. I mean, with so many hats on, like what they had to do with the Star Wars and the integration of a planet and their personalities on top of all of that, building droids, sure. Yeah. That beats out Puppies, because Puppies was the strong one in the lead for me.
Yeah. They had a giant fire hydrant at the center of their build. I mean, it's a nice little touch.
This one doesn't have Bill Clinton playing the saxophone, though. So
that is a big loss.
So moving on to Lego Masters Australia. They're actually on season 7, so they're 2 seasons ahead. Episode 1, we're going to go through episode 1 here. Yeah.
Okay.
On the 7th season of Lego Masters Australia, it's called Grand Masters of the Galaxy. That's why there's all that space stuff in there. And they have 5 Australian teams and 5 international teams all competing against each other. And the Grand Master part is that everyone on this season has either won their season or was a finalist on their season. So we got
all-stars.
Yeah, this is an all-star cast. So, and the previous season they did Grand Masters where they did this same thing. So then that's why this is the next step of Grand Masters of the Galaxy kind of thing. And then so as the show in the preview, just watching the preview of it, you'll instantly notice that these builds look so much better, like museum level builds of stuff that they make.
Really good.
These are some elite builders that we get to watch.
Holy shit.
This one right here, they built a Karen where it's like the ultimate Karen who has a hand that comes out that's like, stop, back away. And she has a finger that points, and she's got a phone that comes up. It's very awesome, very playable.
I feel like the pool of contestants is probably much larger for this show, because the other one looks like they pulled out of LA or Chicago, wherever it's filmed. It looked like everyone was from there.
No, it's people from all over the world, but I do agree with you. Well, it's people from all over the US, but I do agree with you in that one that now they're on season 5. I think like season 1, there's some really, really great builds. I feel like you kind of run yourself dry, which is why you go to the Grandmasters kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what also happens, and this is just across the board with any form of American reality television, it's like, I think they call it the puck effect, which is like you watch the first season of The Real World and it is about as legitimate of a reality show as humanly possible. Yeah. Then you get to roughly season 3 where this piece of shit named Puck just is like, I'm going to be fucking wild and crazy. And then from that point on, the casting agents are specifically looking for a type, and that type is wild and crazy. So it's like the first season of any reality show, you get the most pure version. And then immediately the people who are casting it are looking for like, who's the wacky type of personalities we need for Lego Masters.
That's San Francisco cast. They have somebody in the Trump administration.
As someone who works in reality TV, I just have to say that when you cross over reality shows, that's also when it gets real bad. It just does the opposite effect of the first episode.
So moving on with this episode, people walk in and we're briefly introduced to the teams. And one of them, a couple of them are from the US version of Lego Masters. So if you're unfamiliar with the Australian version, you can go in and see some familiar faces. So that's another awesome thing about it. Nice. Then we're introduced to the judge on the left. That's Brickman. And the host, Hamish Blake, on the right, which is like... That's how you know he's Australian.
Because his name's Hamish.
That's
Hamish is hands down the best Lego Masters host. I had no idea who he was before watching it, but now I am a big fan. He's got perfect comedic timing, dry wit, and self-deprecating charm that works brilliantly with the contestants. He genuinely seems like he's having fun. And in Australia, they let you get away with a little bit more on TV. A little bit more risque jokes. Example, in a later episode from this season, a team is making a skull and crossbones, And Hamish points out that they look a little bit more bone than expected.
Well played, sir.
Yep, that's a boner.
You know?
Mhm.
And he's a little imp about it. If you watch the show, you get it. He's pretty awesome. Brickman, the guy on the right there, he is the opposite of the USA judges, Amy and Jamie, in the fact that they're basically robots judging, and Brickman feels what he's judging. When he sees a great build, he lights up with so much admiration. And when someone goes home, Brickman always looks like he's on the verge of a breakdown, like he's just about to sob. And my wife and I were watching this with some German friends, and they have a German phrase that perfectly encapsulates this look. It's called having piss in your eyes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those Germans have a way with language.
They do. One time he was dressed up like this and he had piss in his eyes.
Okay. Just an anti-Donna character crying on the Legos.
I think he's supposed to be either a stereotypical French or like waiter or something. Anyway, I love this man. So what's the first challenge? Get a ping pong ball from down a ramp, then across your table through your build and onto the next ramp that's up a little higher. So it's already better than build half a planet. That's also your Lego Star Wars thing.
But where's the Star Wars?
Yeah, that's my big question. Thank you for asking the question we're all thinking, Nate.
I'm tuned out.
We actually see the building process and we hear teams talk through their ideas. This is how you get to know the contestants and appreciate their creativity. On this, no team goes home on the first couple of builds, okay?
Wow.
Instead, there's a scoring system. So it's set up to give teams more than one build to prove themselves. Each build's worth 20 points. And if you're at the bottom, then you're at risk of elimination. And if you're at the top, then you win what's called the immunity brick. And how they introduce the immunity brick is it floats in, and then midway through the effect, they cut to a guy holding it. This is, if you watch the show, this is Jordy from season 1. He's a fan favorite. In a green.
That's so fucking funny.
Look at, there you go. It's charming. It's goofy.
Did they put him in a thong?
Yeah. No, I think it's just because the green suit itself is too tight.
So tight.
Oh no, they got him a medium.
Whatever it is, it's tucked in.
To wear something so unforgiving on TV like this takes some huge huevos. And you know what? As we could see, Jordy has them.
I'm having banana man, donut man flashbacks.
Fucking Jordy, I love him.
More peen on this show.
Can you go back? Well, just
yeah,
that looks like a boob. That looks like a boob.
Can you zoom in? Can we
enhance?
I'm sorry. That is a tit.
So the builds, here's some of the builds. They're amazing. Finland built a sauna moose that catches the ball and then transfers it up and puts it in the steam, and the steam's supposed to push it up to the next thing. This one didn't work, unfortunately. So they got 0 points, but it still looks awesome. This is like this got 0 points and it looks awesome.
It looks awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
One Aussie team built a construction site with elevators and grinders. China. What? Go ahead.
I like the bricks scattered around. That's a good touch.
In this one, like it gets to, you can't see in this photo, but the top, so it goes down, goes up, and then it goes through a grinder that they have up there, and then it goes up again. So like it goes on a nice and this is a ping pong ball on Lego. So if it hits something wrong, it could fly off and you get 0 points.
That's pretty
cool.
Pretty damn cool.
So China had a ninja dojo that the ball would have to go through. With a training obstacle course of spinning animals. It was awesome.
This is incredible.
So cool.
It was awesome. New Zealand was one of the weakest ones, but you know what? It's still creative and colorful. You know,
It's still better than the weakest one of the U.S. build that
It's
we
not
watched.
just a topiary garden.
Yeah.
With Bill Clinton playing the saxophone.
Here's the winning build. It's beautiful.
Damn.
It's several moving parts here. All right. So it's a big pond with moving lily pads. These go up and then tilt down, and it went through 3 lily pads. Then it goes down in the water to that fisherman who has his fisherman's hook. He lifts it up, brings it up to the fish. It goes in the fish's mouth. The fish goes up, and then the fish poops it out.
Love
It was
that.
amazing.
That's
Well
really
done.
cool. Even
So
without
good.
like the ball, you can see the motion in that one. That's like the
Yeah.
waves and the fish. That's beautiful.
That's really cool. Yeah.
The fisherman with his cheeks. Look at the fisherman's cheeks.
Yeah.
The more
incredible.
you look at this, there's a cool little flowers that are scattered around that you don't
Yeah.
even notice, that are just for fun.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah. Let's go here. And look at that. We got to enjoy all of them building. We learned about who they are, and the end of the episode, you got your favorites. And even if it's people that you don't necessarily like their builds, you're like, oh man, I'm rooting for this person. You know, it's art, it's fun, it's joyful. Lego Masters Australia, I believe, is the gold standard of Lego Masters. And you might be thinking, Bacon, why are you telling me about this show that I can't even watch? Wrong. You can go on YouTube. It's on YouTube. You could watch it there, but you want to watch it legally. You go to Channel 9's website in Australia, and all you need is a VPN. If you don't have a VPN, get one. It's 1,000% worth it just for security reasons or to do stuff like this. Switch your VPN to Australia. Boom. Lego Masters legally.
Nice.
Love
Right? To entice you even more, I made a couple GIFs from the second episode of this season where they had to attach Lego builds to these gliders, and it was like bonus points for going the furthest. This one is a chicken that like dropped eggs that had little chicks in it and stuff.
Wow.
Look at these genuine reactions. It's beautiful. You got Brickman on. You got Hamish on his knee over there. Brickman watching, and this. Oh, it just lands perfectly.
That's so satisfying.
Watch these reactions. Brickman's losing his mind. He couldn't believe it.
Oh, wow.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's kind of like every time I'm on Facebook, it's always recommending me watching a video of someone rolling a giant jar of items down a flight of stairs, and I'm like, why is this so satisfying to watch? Like things break into
Your
small-
algorithm's messed up, Matt Kelly.
Boy, is it well.
I love when it's like a guy who's carrying a rock and you know what's going to happen. And he just carries it to that frozen pond and it's building and then he chucks it in. Oh, it's so perfect.
Or it's like I get a lot of the ones where it's just a giant like hot red ball that's come out of God knows what furnace. And they're like, we're going to drop this into a cup filled with popcorn kernels and see what happens.
Yep.
And you just watch popcorn start flying out of the cup and you're like, God, that is satisfying.
There's a Russian YouTube channel where it's just a compressor and he just compresses things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nate, you and I are apparently on the same algorithm.
Well, I was on the Finnish guy who's like, now we uncompress the thing.
Yeah.
That guy.
I don't know.
Will lead ball compress? Let's find out.
Yes. It does nothing for it cannot stand up to the massive power of compression. I love that guy. I love that guy.
All right.
Now we can run a little late. We got a lot of people watching tonight. Thanks, guys, in the chat. We also got our first troll, by the way.
Boy, did we! I
yeah.
saw that. I saw that happening.
Yeah.
Nice.
But Matt Kelly, do you have a cold case that you'd like to show us?
I think we can get at least started. Maybe this will be a two-parter, and we'll finish it next week.
Ooh. I'm excited for this one.
All right. I want you guys to picture, if you will, it's Saturday morning. You're watching TV. You're watching your Saturday morning cartoons, eating your cereal, and it goes to commercial break. And if you're like me, those commercial breaks would sometimes have like interstitial educational things. Maybe you get like a schoolhouse rock song, like a singular schoolhouse rock song, but these little like 1 to 2 minute educational moments. Does anyone remember these Saturday morning things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of mine that I remember seeing were just don't do drugs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or stuff. Yeah, stuff
The
like
Ninja
that.
Turtles.
This is a bill. Yeah.
So, in the mid to late 90s, my mom worked for DuPont Hospital, DuPont Children's Hospital. And I honestly don't know what specific branch she was in, but somehow it fell on her that they were going to attempt to produce a series of interstitials to play on Saturday mornings to teach kids like how to be safe, basically. And they filmed a bunch of stuff in a studio that I was not a part of, but you're going to see it in this footage. But what they needed was kids to show examples of the things that they were talking about. We're talking about like not eating cookie dough when it's raw, or like making sure that you have your helmets and knee pads on. And there's no
So we are doing base level
stuff.
Base. This isn't stop, drop, and roll.
No, this is as low budget as possible. So to do this and to do it on a budget, my mom and like 2 other people that worked at DuPont just brought all of their children to a home where there was a whole camera crew. And it was a pretty great day. We spent most of the day in the basement playing Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo.
Yes, Nate.
Yes, Nate?
This is for a children's hospital, right?
This is for a children's hospital, yeah.
Why not bring the sick kids? They would love to play Nintendo all day.
Sick kids aren't actors, Nate.
Okay.
So we'd be in like the basement.
Salt in their wounds.
We'd be in the basement playing like Turtles in Time, and then like someone would come down and be like, "All right, we need 2 kids for the don't eat raw dough segment," and then they would just like go upstairs and film for a couple minutes. While digitizing,
Not you, Billy. You're sick.
Yeah,
get back to your room.
So
it's my makeup to be on the show.
Obviously, as I talk about this, no one knows what the hell I'm talking about because this was not successful. But
who'd have thought?
But when digitizing VHS tapes one day, I found the tape of the demos of everything they shot. And that is what I'm here to present to you today.
This is true.
This is as lost media can get. So
wow.
Let's skip. Okay, so here we go. Like, there's a little like you're even getting the little like stinger at the front. Like, all right, this is the kids' health tip. Salmonella.
Oh God,
you are gonna besmirch cookie dough, you bastards.
But here we go.
It's time for a kids' health tip from correspondents Susie Q and Ted Kibble, with Ace Reporter on the scene.
Hello, everyone. It's fun to let kids help in the kitchen when baking cakes or cookies.
I like to lick the bowl.
Well, Ace Reporter tells us why it's better not
That is my
to
mom.
taste the batter.
That is my mom in the back making the cookie batter. Neither of these are her children.
No, we need the cute
is
kids.
Never
Matt.
a good idea if the batter contains raw eggs. Raw eggs may be contaminated with salmonella bacteria, which may cause severe stomach pain, nausea, or vomiting. All
Question,
foods
Matt
containing
Kelly.
raw eggs should be cooked.
Has your
before
mother
being
never
eaten.
stirred a thing?
It had to be asked.
She stirs like Tony Soprano.
Actually, I lied. Got to back up. That little girl is my youngest sister.
Good
She was
idea
maybe
if the batter
4 at the
contains
time that we did this.
Oh my
There
God.
she is.
Left you because you didn't look like your mom?
Oh, no.
Is that the reasoning?
Maybe.
How about they do a whole PSA about how you shouldn't like put your mouth on the bowl?
Yeah, that's probably
Sis.
a good idea too. That's my
What else is
cousin.
bad for
The other
cookie dough boogers?
kid here is my cousin Ryan.
Wow.
So just
Eggs.
That
it's
mushroom.
like a
Raw
little
eggs may
Kelly
be
family
contaminated
reunion.
with salmonella bacteria.
Yeah,
Which
that looks like mac and cheese. That does not look like cookie dough.
All right, let's try to get through this. Let's watch it and then go back because
may cause severe stomach pain, nausea, or vomiting. All foods containing raw eggs should be cooked before being eaten.
So bake those cookies first, then enjoy.
Okay, but what if you eat too many?
Well, that's a tip for another day, Ted. See you next time.
This Kids Health tip has been brought to you by the Nemours Foundation.
So that's tip number 1.
Let me say the production value, really love it. Love the style, love the puppets, love the color.
I love the conceit of a news show for kids with puppets. That's really good.
Yeah.
No, stirring was subpar. You know,
I like
the sweater game though. Sweater game's on point.
The salsa style of font we've got for salmonella.
Yeah.
Bacteria.
That is that's on a Mexican food restaurant.
That's what I was literally going to say. That is Mexican food in the 90s font. That is a Chi-Chi's font.
I can see why you guys didn't make it. You had to pay all that Chi-Chi money. Also, those are the wettest cookies I've ever seen.
Well, the sound effects don't help at all. Those sound effects, let's just listen closely to the sound effects of the stirring.
Severe stomach pain, nausea, or vomiting. All foods containing raw eggs.
Maybe you heard it, but it's like a bubbling sound.
Tells us why it's better
while
not
he's
to
saying
taste
nausea
the
and
batter.
vomiting.
Yeah.
Licking the bowl or spoon is never a good idea if the batter contains raw eggs. Raw eggs may be contaminated with salmonella bacteria, which may cause severe stomach pain, nausea, or vomiting. All
It's like Papa's mouth opened up and created that sound.
I don't believe that mess made those cookies.
I do, because I think there's too much butter in those cookies, and that's why they didn't
flat.
rise.
Yeah, I don't think they put baking soda in.
Now, this is more of a Kelly household enjoyment, but we get a lot of, when we watch this, we get a lot of joy, not out of my sister just being a kid eating a cookie, but I want you to look at when it cuts to the newsroom, my cousin Ryan is still on the camera, and he eats a cookie like he's done something he's not supposed to do.
So bake those cookies first, then enjoy.
You know what? That's like him. He's in the interrogation room, and they're like, "Where's your body?" And he's like, "I don't know."
That's one of those YouTube things where they leave the kid with the cookies. Don't eat these. And they leave for 2 hours.
He's the one that should have said 10 minutes.
Like, just phenomenal acting in there.
I got nothing bad to say about the puppets, man. Those puppets are.
I mean, I want to be on this show. I mean, I would kind of be like, "Hey, can we get our TV fixed? It's broken on the side."
Why is everything yellow?
Yeah, let's go with the yellow background with a yellow table and a yellow pedestal. It's a little, but besides
I'm gonna
that,
wear my beige or my yellowish beige sweater.
Now, how do we feel about the name of the dog reporter being Ted Kibble? Because I think that's some good shit right there.
Ted Kibble? Is that what that's supposed to be?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Can you think of a better one right now?
No. There was only so many famous news reporters of the early 90s that kids would know. I feel like he was probably like the top one.
Yeah. Airplane turtles in time all day. Highway robbery.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm in one of these. I don't remember if it's the next one. If it's not the next one, I guess we'll just have to wait till next week. But let's see. I genuinely don't remember the order.
Right, let's watch the whole thing, and then we could go back because it's captivating.
And we have to wait for there's a little bit of dead air between the segments. You had to space these bumpers out properly.
Yeah, just to edit. Yeah.
They should have turned on the lights in the studio.
Baby proofing. I don't think I'm in this one.
It's time for a Kids Health tip from correspondents Susie Q and Ted Kibble with Ace Reporter on the scene.
These title cards are great.
Hello, everyone. Did you know that most children's accidents and injuries occur in the household? The home can be a dangerous place for babies and toddlers.
What about dogs?
Well, Ace Reporter is here to explain why baby-proofing your home sometimes means getting on all fours.
By exploring your home on hands and knees, you'll probably see accidents waiting to happen. Exposed electrical outlets, sharp corners, dangling cords, and more. Look at your home through a child's eyes and make it a safer place.
Thanks, Ace. Safer homes means safer kids. Ted, what are you doing?
I'm making sure the studio is safe. Oh, my old bone. Oh, a cookie. A rubber ball.
That's today's Kids Health Tip. See you next time.
This Kids Health Tip has been brought to you by the Nemours Foundation.
All right, we already have a problem.
Bacon, are you going to get on your hands and knees and crawl around your house to make sure that everything's safe?
Well, I can, thank God. Unlike that guy, he had to wear pants, otherwise he would have gotten rug burn on whole wall-to-wall carpet. Wow. First of all, who's your audience here? The first one was children. Now this is for adults. Like, who is...
I don't know. Also, this terrified baby, another Kelly cousin. That is my cousin.
Oh, that is, yes, that's a scared baby. That is a very scared baby.
Your entire family has a lot of great reactions.
What that kid, like, you walked in on him, like, just getting done with a murder.
Very guilty children. What's happening in the Kelly family?
Saturn devouring his son.
Are you sure you guys aren't Catholic? Because there's a lot of guilt there.
Oh no, trust me. My mom's side grew up Catholic for sure.
What would happen if Ace Reporter didn't grow up to be a reporter?
That's a real Captain Hook question, right? Like, is that it? What if his, like, is that just random that happened, or is he being mocked?
I think he just disappointed his parents because he didn't go into optometry.
Well, because he has no eyes.
He doesn't have any eyes.
Oh.
I think he's a pretty great reporter, considering.
All things considered, he's doing a great job. Now, I've pointed out a lot of Matt Kelly family members. No clue who this man is.
No. That's literally a home
invader.
invader.
He's wanted in 14 states, though. So you see him.
Not a clue who this man is. Checking the corners, or even.
Can you go back to that
I believe
couch?
it was probably his house.
That couch is so 1992.
Look at that little Jeep in the background. That purple Jeep.
Yeah, the Power Wheel.
Well, you know, rich people live here.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking, because they have space in their playroom or probably romp room, and it's all carpeted. Yeah,
wall to wall.
This was where we were playing Turtles in Time. This was the basement with the Turtles in Time. So,
if we go back to that couch, do you go to the store and you're like, I'm looking for a couch that's mostly arm?
Look how
New Mexico, but pastel.
Yeah, I want a couch that never skipped arm day.
I want a couch where my shins hit the coffee table. No, this is definitely a couch made in Arizona, because this was entirely how Arizona was designed.
Yeah, yes. Even that coffee table, man. That coffee table, I have like direct memories of that coffee table from
I think we also had that coffee table.
Yeah.
I do think there's a question why those what seem to be very dirty sneakers are just resting
on the couch. Put my shoes, Mom. Go just on the couch. Should I put them on the towel? No, knock the towel off, then put them on the couch.
Yeah. Should we move this towel for shooting? No, leave it there. It's covering up a stain.
Kind of look like a worn Bears jersey.
I don't know what is going on. I mean, well, you know, cute kid, you know.
Great sweater game again.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, the sweater game is. Can you tell that it was Christmas time when we were filming?
Oh, there you go.
We had 3 great sweaters. It just can't. The 90s cannot be beat for sweaters. It just cannot.
That's peak sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see if we see me next week.
Continuity error. I see a continuity error. That plug in the background, the top one is plugged now. It was open before.
Well, because he crawled around, he saw that he needed to plug it, but he only plugged one of them. It's like, let me get the one that's more out of the baby's range.
This one is where I'll keep my fork under
it. How many takes do you think it took to get that kid to crawl to the phone?
One cookie.
I'm willing to bet that if it was a brand new toy, I think they just put out a thing that he had never seen before and tried to get that
open
one
a Christmas present.
Yeah, just plop it down there. So he's like, "What the fuck is that?"
Gotcha.
He is prompting towards it too. Like he's on a mission.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
And also, I just want to, before we wrap up entirely, it's not perfect, but again, for a low budget thing, I do have to applaud this animation that they threw over top of Ted Kibble digging around to try to find what's going on there.
Yeah. This is good
the
stuff.
animation and the graphics are really good.
Yeah.
It has what's it called? It has easing in there. It has like it gets thrown, and when it goes to its peak, it slows down and it goes like it's not just A to B. So the person who did that knew what they were doing.
I'm fairly sure that cat though was stolen from one of the strips on a Sunday. I think it's Foxtrot or something.
Yeah,
one of the
Makes
stolen
sense.
from something. Or Doonesbury? I don't know.
That seems Doonesbury to me.
Maybe that's just how people used to draw cats.
That's just how everyone drew cats like that. It was always that cat. It was either the Garfield Heathcliff situation or that weird skinny cat.
Well, we know it's not Garfield Heathcliff because there's no fish bone next to it.
That is true.
True.
Very, very true.
Oh, you guys could hear that? That sound that means that it's time to talk about what we learned today before we leave. Well, I'll start. I learned that LA, just little small parts of it are on fire, but you could say that anytime, really.
I mean, it's a couple months late, but it's really just the AI cars that were on fire for one day. But I did learn today that CrossFit has viewers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Nate watched it.
I watch it.
I
You
did.
still watch this year. I love it.
I
learned that trolls are always boring.
Boy, are
Yeah.
they. Man, they were
Yeah.
pulling from the playbook from 5 years ago. It was pretty weak.
Yeah. It's like, if you hold a flag, it makes you a patriot.
Yeah.
Chirac, hey, I'm a bully. If I call something a name, I've gotten it. That's actually funny. So he agreed with something.
Nice.
And then
I think it was when I showed the gun off. Is what it was.
You made
okay.
my team laugh.
Oh, so I'm not American, but I understand zero of this. Thank you for then those who know the least should talk the most.
That is the American way.
That is the American way. So you're fitting right in
now.
Yeah, you're American now. I learned this week that Rage Against the Machine's weirdly litigious. Because I am wearing the only version of this shirt you'll ever get from the Geekscape Dashery store because Rage Against the Machines pulled it because of the fist.
Oh.
It was our short-lived Friendle radicalized me 90s kids book shirt. But yep, I got one shirt before I got the email that we were told by the lawyers of Rage Against the Machines that we were stealing their intellectual property. Damn the man, certainly. Rage Against the Machines, God bless you.
To be fair, I kind of understand it because their music gets pulled by a lot of terrible people.
Yeah,
that is true.
Kind of bastardize their. But
I just didn't know they could copyright a fist. That was that was a shocking thing to discover. And I also discovered that apparently my mom got a lot of free labor out of her family tree in the 90s.
Nepotism, baby.
Nepotism. We'll see you guys next week. We'll have more news, TV, movies. We'll see what we're covering, and you'll be able to see the end of this cold case. We'll be able to see young Matt Kelly in there.
I think I'm going to talk about some banana backpack next week. So
in television, if you're a challenge fan, definitely check that out. And let us know in the comments what you'd like to see. If you were on here from the Bears thing, if you want to see sports stuff again, let us know. We're a new channel. We're a baby channel.
Hit that like mofo.
Yeah, thank you. Hit that like. Thank you guys, everybody. Tom Brokaw is a true goat.
Best name.
Yeah, they could have went with Bark Crawl or something. Yeah, that's a real miss. I think I like Ted Kibble more.
I like Ted Kibble.
I think it's Tops. Yeah, Bark Stewart. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. See you guys next week. Thanks for watching.